Hi everyone, today is going to be mere in 5 minutes, so make sure you've got a cup of tea or coffee for this one, because today I am going to be talking you through the Headstart or amalgamation process and what it could mean here for Central Otago in the middle of the Otago region. Here's my picture. The government's proposal is called the Headstart process, and it's also known as simplifying local government. It's outlined in this document, which you can find on our website and also on the government's website. There are 5 criteria that proposals for the Headstart need to cover off. The first one is supporting the new planning system. That's the RMA reform that they've been talking about for quite a while. And the criteria for this one state: how will the proposal make a new planning system easier to deliver and operate, not harder? And how will you ensure continuity throughout the process through the arrangements you are putting in place? So that's criteria number 1. Criteria number 2 is that it needs to simplify local government, and that's where we're reading no more regional councils. This one, the criteria is: will it reduce duplication and make decision making clearer and more efficient? Does it reduce complexity and make the system easier to understand and to run? Criteria number 3 relates to economies of scale, and that's why the amalgamation part of it is such a big one. The criteria for economies of scale state: does your proposal support regional strategic planning, including spatial planning, land transport, public transport, and economic development? Will it deliver better value? How does it improve efficiency, save money over time, and support asset management, infrastructure, and services? The next one is maintaining a local voice, and that is very important to people in Central Otago. The criteria for this criteria is: how will communities continue to be represented and heard, and how will local voice be maintained in a larger system? And then the final one is deliverability. And that one is pretty self-explanatory, but they've stipulated: how can this be implemented? Is it realistic, and can it be delivered on time? So all of those criteria need to go into any Headstart proposal. That proposal deadline is the 9th of August, and it will then mean that the proposals would be in place, if selected, for the 2028 elections. So government would look to pass a law mid-next year to make sure that process could happen for those councils that are successful in putting forward a Headstart bid. If you don't put in a Headstart proposal, or you're not selected as one of the Headstart proposals to go forward, then you would be in the backstop process. This is for everyone not in Headstart. Unfortunately, we don't have any details on this process until mid-2027, when the government will announce what the backstop process is. But we think that it might be the CTBs that the government talked about just prior to Christmas, when they announced that regional councils would be no more. CTB is combined territory boards, and it would mean the mayors of the current councils would get together, maybe with a Crown Commissioner, maybe not, and run the regional council functions until the next step is figured out. We think it might be Otago-wide, but that's not confirmed. And there is, of course, a general election in between now and then. So what's happening now? We've run an Otago-wide survey to find out what matters to people when it comes to their local governance. We had 6 main priorities for Central Otago. Number 1 came out as loss of identity. 2 was finances and financial concerns, and then 3 was conditional or anti-reform sentiment. And that was where we saw a lot of the comments around please don't merge with QLDC. Following on from that was pro-reform sentiment, wider impacts including the environment, and also some worries about the process and it feeling rushed. At the moment, the mayors are meeting regularly to find out what the neighbours are thinking about and where they might like to go and what they might like to prioritise, including discussions about how we could deliver regional council functions at a local or wider scale. We are talking to others, including fed farmers, overseas best practice, getting legal advice, especially since the law hasn't actually changed yet, and there's a lot of things we need to do in the meantime, like put together our long-term plans. We've been talking with ministers and also reading lots of information from think tanks around New Zealand and beyond, including the likes of the New Zealand Initiative. We're also going to be holding local drop-in information sessions next week, and there will be an online one as well that people can tune into if you can't make it in person, because I know some of those times don't suit everyone. More info will be coming on this as well. So when we talk about options, what are we talking about at the moment? The first thing that we have done as mayors of all of Otago and your council is make sure that we're in a position to put forward a Headstart proposal by the due date if we want to. Just making sure that wasn't cut off as an option because we hadn't done the work. So that remains there. It has to be as a unitary council with at least one other council. And a unitary council delivers both the regional council functions and the district council functions. There is an option to do nothing. We don't have to put forward a proposal, and it is a voluntary process. We could wait till mid next year to see what the government says about the backstop process. We could try our luck and push the boat a little bit with a proposal that's not a unitary. That is not the recommended option from the Department of Internal Affairs, but I guess you could give it a go. Or we could not put in a proposal but continue working in the background on what alternatives might be, whether it's on our own or with our neighbours, recognising that the status quo probably isn't going to be fit for the long run. So no options have been decided on yet. We're just keeping everything open at the moment until we can get some more information and modelling about whether there are any financial benefits or other benefits to Central Otago for joining with any other councils. Where can you find out more information? You can pop along to my Facebook page, to the council's Facebook page, to the council's website, and there is a button on government reform, and that's where we'll put all the documents, especially the likes that I held up earlier that's got the Headstart guidance, as well as the details on all the other reform that ties into part of this process. You can also go to the Otago Mayoral Forum website for the details on the survey that we ran, and you can go to the Beehive website where they have got the details straight from the minister's mouth. Thank you so much for watching this. I know there's a lot there. Do reach out to me if you've got any further questions, or to council, or to your councillors or community board members, and do please pop along to our drop-in sessions if you can make them. Thanks so much.